Welcome to the Franklin County NC Podcast. I'm James Hicks, and this is a podcast about Franklin County, North Carolina. On our broadcast, we hope you will learn a few things that you didn't know about Franklin County, North Carolina, plus some helpful tips for you in your daily lives. Today, I'm joined by Oliver June Greene, who is the Director of Parks and Recreation for Franklin County, and we're going to learn a little bit more about his background, his role as Parks and Rec Director, and probably a few things we didn't know about what's going on in the parks in Franklin County. So welcome to the podcast, Oliver. How are you doing?
Doing great, James. Thank you.
So I probably should address that situation because I had to throw that in there because anybody who's listening to this might know you by one name and some may know by the other. So I've always, when I first hear it's Oliver Greene, but then I learned a little bit more about June and noticed a lot of people who are from this county and grew up with you and stuff like that will call you June, and but they won't say anything else. Well, I saw June, and I'm like, who is June? So and then I learned that's you. So so we'll just say June. So how long have you been called June?
Probably 52 years.
Okay.
And I'm actually 52 years old.
Okay.
And the reason how that all started was because I'm a junior. I was named after my father. So I did not grow up as a Deuce. I didn't grow up as Junior. My family just called me June, and it stuck. And I never was called Junebug or none of that. It was just always straight June.
Okay. When you talk about growing up, so your background is a little bit different. We've had some other people on the podcast who may not have been here as long. So we'll go to that. So what is your background? So how did you become Parks and Rec Director at Franklin County? This might be a long story.
Okay.
You know?
No. I want to make it short and sweet.
Okay.
When I first started with the county, I came in as a recreation services supervisor. I did that for about 3 years, and at the time, the director that was here, he ended up leaving. So I was the interim director for about a couple of years, and then I became the director. For that, I was teaching school. I had actually moved back to the area, and when I first moved back from Northern Virginia, like I tell people, I actually moved 4 hours away to live in Centerville. Centerville, Virginia, that is, but not North Carolina. So when I moved back, I was in the school system for a couple of years, and then this job here came available, and I was happy to apply and get on.
Okay. And you are from Franklin County, right?
Yes, Lewisburg, North Carolina, East River Road.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
I went to college at North Carolina A&T State University.
Mm-hmm. And locally in the county?
At Lewisburg High School.
Lewisburg High. Okay.
Yep. So elementary school is now the central office. That's why I went to elementary school.
Okay. And
my middle school which is now Laura Mill, it was called Gold Sand Middle School.
Okay.
And then Lewisburg High School.
Okay. You talked a little bit about how you became Parks and Rec Director, but what does the Parks and Rec Director do? Sometimes people don't know kind of what that position really does, and we get into a lot of weird positions sometimes when I talk to people on the podcast that they say, I don't really know what that means, but you kind of explain what you do as Parks and Rec Director.
As Parks and Recreation Director, as me as the director, I'm in charge of the Parks and Recreation Department, and within that department, we offer different programs and services to all the citizens. And also, we also have a maintenance side of our department, which is responsible for cutting grass, doing our ball fields, any other minor labor work that needs to be done within any other parks here in the county.
And so, as part of that, we'll take the parks part first. Mm-hmm. We got a couple of different parks. I'll say, when you first started, how many parks were there that the county maintained and owned?
When I first started, the county maintained 2 parks, and one of them we leased, and one of them we owned at the time. So the park that we lease is the Moose Lodge ball field. The concession stand and the building, we have nothing to do with that. We only lease the ball field. Mm-hmm. Then there's Franklinton Park, and that's at 202 Park Avenue in Franklinton. That park was constructed in 2003. So at that park, it sits on 22 acres. They have a trail that's 3/4 of a mile long. That's a nature trail that's back through the woods. We have a multi-purpose field. This is soccer regulation with lights. We have a 400-meter track that's outside of the soccer field. We have a picnic shelter with tables roughly about 45 feet by 70 feet, which is our biggest picnic shelter there is. We have a softball field, which is a 200-foot fence. We have a baseball field that's 330-foot fence. We have a concession stand with bathrooms out there, and there's also a playground that we currently have there that we are looking to do some more things out there with the playground as well.
Yeah, and as we were talking before too, Franklinton Park. I've been out there a couple of times, and the community and people that use that, they really love that, and I can back that up and say just go check the Google reviews for Franklinton Park, because when I see those come through, people just really love that park, and it's a really cool resource for over there. A little bit off the beaten path, you gotta if you look, if you're not looking hard enough, you might miss it, but but if you know where it is, you really will get treated to a lot of cool little things there. So
yeah, I mean that park is. We actually do stuff for the middle schools. Use that park to rent out the ball fields, the soccer fields as well. We even have some middle schools and high schools that even use the track for practicing and so forth. We also open it up for travel teams to come out there and practice soccer, baseball, softball as well out there. We host several events out there as well during the summer. Mm-hmm. So that park attracts a lot of people, not from Franklin County, but from other counties that come like for school ball and track events and so forth, travel teams as well.
And that's just outside of downtown Franklinton. So if you're in Franklinton going to one of the shops or restaurants or whatever, you have a nice little amenity just on the outskirts there. So we got those. So we tackled Moose Lodge and Franklinton Park. Mm-hmm. So what was the next park that came online since you've been here?
The next part was the Pilot Line Park. That came online in 2012, and that's at 86 Pilot Bypass Road, Zebulon, North Carolina. That one sits on 18 acres. It has a paved walking trail a half a mile long. It has a multi-purpose field, has a picnic shelter with tables and a grill, a softball field that's fences at 290, and we have another baseball-sized field with a fence that is 300. There's concession stands with bathrooms, and there's also a playground out there as well. That field also is being used by travel teams for renting out. Eastwick Academy uses it for their baseball, softball teams as well. So,
yeah, because it's pretty far down there. It's kind of in that. Is it considered Zebulon-ish area of Franklin County?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I went down there and did some videos, and there's some videos on our YouTube page that kind of show you a little bit of these amenities. But I went down to get the videos for there, and it was at the end of the day, and my wife kind of pulled up on GPS where I was, and because it was almost 5:00, and she said, "What are you doing in Zebulon?" And I said, "Well, we have a park down here in this part of the county." So she said, yeah, "So I'll be home in a little while because I got to come up from there." So
yeah.
But it's a good little resource for that section of the area too,
and especially the walking trail. The citizens use that walking trail every morning, all through the course of the day. They are out there walking on it, even when they're some of the people would come in while their kids are playing or practicing. They would actually go out there and walk as well, which that's actually just promoting what our whole department is looking for, just trying to have a healthy lifestyle of living as well.
So I'm taking it that the next park that came online is our biggest park. Oh,
yes.
It's almost like its own little world there. I mean, it's to me, it's so big and has so many different little things. It's almost like an amusement park of sorts. So,
yes.
That would be Owens Park.
Owens Park, yes. And that's at 499 Massenburg Baker. That's in Lewisburg, North Carolina. That one came online at 2019. That park sits on 167 acres. We have a paved ADA walking trail, which is a half a mile. Then we have several, I call them cross-country trails or nature trails, and you're basically walking on grass. We have a 3K, which is a 1.8 mile course. Then we have a 5K, which is 3.1 miles course. That one particularly takes you around the entire park that you see all 4 ponds on the park, the floating pier, the disc golf course. It lets you see everything at the park. And we also have out there picnic shelter with restrooms. We have a playground. As I said before, we have 4 ponds you can fish out of. One of them has a floating pier, and it's stocked by the state. Normally in actually December, they will stock it with trout. They normally bring in anywhere from 15 to 2,000 trouts every December. They also stock it 3 times a year with brim and catfish, starting in April, which they just did this month right here. They just brought in one. They'll bring another one in about June and do another one in September. Also out there at the park, we have a butterfly garden. The butterfly garden, when you first look at it, you really can't really get a good picture view of it unless it's during the blooming season. So it's one of the nice attractions out there where you can just go and relax and reflect. And that is, and the members of Commissioner May's family, they actually donated that to that park at its passing. We had 3 rustic campsites. It's just like a pea gravel pad, and we have some fire pits out there and picnic tables. And then we have 18 holes of disc golf, and we had 3 tee pads for every hole for our disc golf course.
And that probably was easily go into the history of this too. Mm-hmm. Is this used to be a golf course?
Yes.
So how did I guess get into a little bit of how did this park come about? As far as it was a golf course and now it's a park, so how did that come about?
Well, leading up to this purchasing this park, which was right around 2015, 2016, the golf course was looking to sell the property. We had received money from Mr. Owens, who stated that he would love to have a fishing hole in his name. So as the chairman and the commissioners looked around for a piece of property that could help with answering Mr. Owens' wishes, we saw that Bull Creek Golf Course was available. So forth, then we looked at what the potential could be out at Owens, which was Bull Creek at the time. By it being 167 acres, it's on a dead-end road. The things that we could do was unlimited with all the space that is there. So we ended up purchasing the property, and then we applied for a part of grant. We did not get it, but we did get a LWCF, a Land Water Conservative Funding Grant, which paid for us to build Owens Park. And like I said, when we built that, first phase was the picnic shelter, playground, the paved walking trail, and that was kind of pretty much the first phase of it, and also building the path down to the pond with the floating pier. When that was first built and the pier was out there were several afternoons, because we were kind of doing that COVID stage, where I would go walking and just actually sit on the pier and actually carry my laptop with me. Because if you don't know, there is out at Owens, there is free Wi-Fi. So there is free Wi-Fi over the entire park out at Owens. So I would actually go out there and carry my laptop and actually do some work while I'm sitting on the pier. And believe it or not, it actually takes you away from thinking that you are in Lewisburg or Franklin County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I've went out there. It was a couple of months ago. We went out and walked around and pushed the baby and all this, and I had to stop and tell my wife. I said, "Listen," and just stop and listen. You don't hear anything but birds chirping. There's no road noise, no nothing. It's very peaceful. And, as the areas grow and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to find sometimes these peaceful areas and stuff like that. And Owens Park, it's kind of a secluded little area once you get into it and get into the little world there that it is. And it's just really peaceful and quiet.
I mean, people ask all the time, do you like it there? Yes. It's very peaceful. Like I said, it's a dead-end road, so we don't get a lot of traffic because there ain't so many houses that can be built down, close to the park. But everybody who has come out there, they have marveled at how nice it is, and like I said, how quiet it is. We have hosted several high schools cross-country matches out there. So all of the local high schools in Franklin County use that as their home course for their 5K which is ran normally in the fall of the year. Hopefully this year, as it has been mentioned, that we will host the North Carolina High School Association 2A, 3A regionals for cross country this coming fall out at Owens. So that will in turn bring more people out there to actually see this park, because once anybody comes and see it, they always come back. Mm-hmm. They always come back to the park. So that's real neat with that. Also, what's neat about Owens is we have a 18-hole disc golf course out at Owens. Mm-hmm. 3 tee pads. We have some long holes. The longest one we have is hole 18. It's right at 800 feet. It's wide open because we actually did this on a golf course. So we don't have a lot of obstacles. We do have some. We do have a dog leg right. We do have bushes and trees you got to throw around. But for the most part, this course is open. I've seen people out there as far as from Virginia. I've seen people who said they came from Wilmington to come play it because they've heard about it. They've seen it on UDIS or wherever. People are talking about it. People have been coming out there playing from everywhere. Also at Owens, since it is a nature park, a natural park more or less, we have been put on the map of bird watchers, which I didn't know that. But several bird watchers now come out in the mornings, and they've said that this had been a place where they've seen several different species of birds or ducks or geese that you don't hardly see a lot of places. So we begin a lot of foot traffic of those who's coming out there. So at Owens Park, it offers a lot. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for some just quietness, you can get that. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for some activities, we do have the 5K trails you can run. We do have disc golf. We do have fishing. We do have the playground. Mm-hmm. Or if you wanted just to go out there and just throw a ball back and forth, it's all open. Fly a kite. Because if it was a golf course, you can't have all the overhead power lines and so forth. So it's just a nice park where you want to go out and just be in nature. It's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that it adds to, an element to a lot of things. Because we have, the towns have other parks and things like that. And I know, especially with disc golf, sometimes I know Lewisburg has some disc golf. Mm-hmm. And there's some partnership there with sometimes with tournaments and things like that. And then there's some, future things too with that. And I know you work with the towns very well on a lot of this stuff. What are so that's the Franklin County owned parks we have right now. Mm-hmm. We got a couple of town parks. I know we do some things with it, partner with.
Yes. We actually do a lot with all the municipalities in Franklin County because we actually here to help them as well. Just speaking of the recent one, us in Franklinton Parks and Recreation hosted our annual Easter egg hunt together. So we had that, the rain came the first weekend and we did it. Matter of fact, it came the second weekend that we were supposed to do it. So we ended up doing it inside the gym. That was the first time, but the kids really enjoyed it. We did that. We also worked with the town of Lewisburg with their baseball because right now Lewisburg uses 2 fields. And they have so many teams, a lot of teams can get no practices in. So some of their teams are actually using our Moose Lodge for some of their practices and so forth. And we also help them with some of their basketball fees that they associate doing for running their basketball league. Also with Lewisburg, we've also have done bought playground equipment for them here in Lewisburg for the Riverbend Park. We've done the same thing in Youngsville. We've bought playground equipment for Luddy Park. We also helped them out with some of their basketball fees that they associate during the course of the year. Bun, we help out. Bun necessarily don't have an actual recreation department. Mm-hmm. There's a group that actually help run some of the Bun youth sports in their area, and we help them out with sometimes they are looking for fields to practice on for their rec teams or either ball games. So they would actually use some of our pilot fields for that. So we have a good relationship with our municipalities, and we try to get together. My goal is to get together twice a year. Mm-hmm. And so that if everybody's get together and we sit at a table and everybody can let everybody know what everybody's doing, you never know when somebody may say, hey, I was trying to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And just because they don't meet together and talk, you never know about it. So that's been my goal the last year. Let's try to meet twice a year. We all get together and and lay out what all your sports are, and so for that. So if somebody needs somebody to play, they can always call them up and schedule games with them.
And so we'll go to, so we don't get too far out of parks. We have a new park on the horizon that some of our listeners may have paid attention to with the Board of Commissioners meetings and some of the stuff we put out. But the future Epson Park is coming up in that Epson community right off of it's Highway 39.
Yeah, Highway 39.
Okay, yeah. And so we talked a lot about this with the Part F grant that we were awarded, but we'll get into that. So you've been very successful in this last year in getting that Part F grant. So what is the Part F grant?
Hey, the Part F grant is a state grant that is a Parks and Recreation Trust Fund that it is a 50-50 matching grant with the max matching that the state would do is $500,000. What you had to do is submit your application. There's certain things criteria that you're graded on. And this past year, we actually submitted for the Epson Park. We ended up coming in within the top 5 out of everybody that was selected for the grant. So that was actually good. And we actually had a good consulting firm to handle that for us. They did a great job. And so we was able to get the grant, which was roughly 840 some change, I want to say. It's right around there. So that's a matching grant. So we had to match half of that. So we have just started to get going. At last commissioners meeting, we was able to select a firm to actually go ahead and actually design the Epson Park for us. Alfred & Benish is the company that was awarded to go ahead and proceed and go with the drawing of it and helping us through the bidding process, getting contractors to help build this park for us. So that's going to be great because this park is going to be sitting on right about 7.6 acres. In this first phase, we are looking to build a half-a-mile paved trail, parking lot, picnic shelter with bathrooms, cornhole, sand volleyball court, and a playground. Hopefully in the second phase, we will be adding some more single little small picnic station areas, hopefully adding disc golf, 9 holes for sure. I'm looking for 18 hopefully out there, but that's part of all of our second phase. Also a fitness area, a outdoor fitness area. We're also looking to do that as well out there.
And some of those phase 2 amenities, that's not included in the Part F side, but it's stuff that we definitely are interested in doing to kind of enhance that part. I know with the disc golf, there's a whole potential there of having this county be the go-to place with what we got at Owens Park, what Lewisburg has at River Bend, and then futurely in Epson Park. You have a potential to have a huge tournament here, like they do in golf and things like that.
Yes.
So that's good. That's coming on the horizon. So stay tuned for that. Well, that's about all the time we have left for today. You've been listening to part 1 of the Parks and Recreation episode of the Franklin County NC podcast. Stay tuned for part 2 that'll be coming out on the horizon. We talk about a lot more stuff happening in the Parks and Recreation of Franklin County. Franklin County NC podcast is produced by Franklin County as a public service to better inform and provide timely and relevant information. Tune in for more informative shows about what is happening in Franklin County. Subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform, like or rate the podcast, and share it with your friends and family. To find out more about Franklin County NC, go to our website at www.franklincountync.gov and sign up for our email newsletter while you are there. For all of us here in Franklin County, I'm James Hicks, and we'll talk to you soon.